Yes Network, the home of champions.
Yankee Stadium has long been the home of great title fights, the best going chest to chest under the glaring lights. Tonight, the main event in a rematch from last week. The young, up-and-coming left-hander contending for the Cy Young crowd. And he goes against the favorite, the veteran, with more to give, with experience in big, big moments. It is a matchup for the ages. It's CC Sabathia against David Price. Let's get ready to watch on Yes. The big guy is on the mound for the Yankees. It's his last regular season start here at the stadium. The Rays against the Yankees almost seems like a sidebar to the pitching matchup, as tonight the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the defending world champion New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the final game of a 4-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. Yankees won the first 2 games of this series, then they lost last night 7-2, 2 hours and 11 minutes of a rain delay in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So now the two teams are very close, obviously, in the standings. But the bottom line is, even if they weren't, this would be a big-time matchup, Sabathia against Price. The last time they met, Sabathia pitched very well.
He certainly did. Both pitchers did not disappoint 10 days ago. CC Sabathia on top of his game. He went 8 innings in this ball game. Only gave up a couple of hits, and he struck out 9. Completely dominant, did not get a decision, but he let the Rays know, I am the #1 man on the Yankee staff. Had an outstanding performance.
Now, he has pitched previously 4 times against the Rays. He's won 2 games on April 10th and September 13th. Obviously, those were great games. He didn't actually win the September 13th game. He's 1-1 in those 4, so this would be the 5th game. Let's take a look now at the New York Lottery pitching matchup. By now, you know what it is. David Price against CC Sabathia. Price, a young left-hander, 17-6, sparkling ERA, and when he faced Sabathia 10 days ago, he rose to the occasion.
He did. He stood up to the challenge. The young lefty, like you mentioned, we don't know a whole lot about him. Is he going to step up in a big spot? Well, he did in the postseason a few years ago, and he matched CC Sabathia. 8 innings, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts. I think more importantly, the personality is, I am a #1 man of this staff, and I will be there tonight.
Oh, this should be fun. This is the type of thing that you'll pay to see. You're watching it free right here on Yes. Where are these guys in the standings? What does this game mean? We'll talk about it on segment 2 next. I'm Michael K. This is a big game for the standings and for the head-to-heads, and we'll explain. First, let's take a look at the American League East standings. Both teams trying to come out as American League East champions. The Yankees are 1 game up in the loss column, 1.5 in the standings, and the Yankees' magic number for playoff berth, not the AL East, just the playoff berth, is 3.
Well, at least both these teams are evenly matched. You can see the Rays won last night. They're winning the season series 9-8, 87 runs apiece. Tied in home runs at 23, and the pitching actually has not been great. But look at that, 6 games decided by 1 run. That means tonight turns out to be a big game.
A big game with 2 unbelievable pitchers, so it should be incredible. There's going to be a lot of electricity here in the ballpark as well. So what we have coming up, we have lineups, first pitch, and baseball. CC Sabathia will be hurling for the Yankees, and he's going to try to add his 21st win to his resume and give the Yankees a bigger lead. In part by Honda. Come see what's new for 2011 today at your Honda dealer. By Hager, established 1926. Your own great moment starts at Hager.com. And by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. The stadium is fast filling up. The Yankees have taken the field. Sabathia has finished his warm-ups. Let's take a look at the Rays starting lineup, which is presented by Lexus. The Rays come in at 90 and 61, game and a half behind the Yanks. Upton in center, Bartlett the shortstop. Carl Crawford's in left. Evan Longoria, the third baseman, cleans up. Batting fifth, playing first, Ben Zobrist. Then it's Rocco Baldelli in right. Willie Ibar, the DH. Kelly Shoppick will catch. And Sean Rodriguez, the second baseman, bats ninth. B.J. Upton digs in. He's ready. So is Sabathia. And let's do it here at the stadium. The first pitch is swung on and skied to left field. Giving chase is Golson. And he runs out of room, and we're underway.
Take a look at CC Sabathia and his regular season numbers. And they are fantastic. 20-6, an ERA just over 3, 69 walks in 224 innings. Take a look at our scouting report. That 20 wins, a nice round number, and done a nice job here at the home field, 11-1. And he's not let a left-handed hitter hit a home run his last 20 starts. Quickly ahead, 0-2.
John Jason's been leading off for the Rays. This is Upton's 33rd game this year leading off. And the 0-2. Home plate umpire is Andy Fletcher. Same crew for the entire 4-game set. Each umpire has had a chance to do his job at home plate. Swing and a miss. Off speed, Upton way out in front. Let's take a look at the Yankees defense, which is brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, you've got Golson, Granderson, and Swisher left to right. Infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. The veteran Posada behind the plate, and Karsten Charles Sabathia is on the mound.
Well, a nice start after a few good fastballs, a slider down middle. Upton swings right over the top.
Here's Jason Bartlett. And there's a strike. Well, Madden has his lefties on the bench, that's for sure. Brignac, Joyce, Pena, Johnson, Jaso, all on the bench. The 0-1. Count 1-1. Now, sometimes the games don't play the way you would predict them off paper, but these two are legitimate great pitchers. This should be a good pitcher's duel. Count 1-2.
Well, I'm sure you said the same thing 10 days ago, and it actually worked out. Both of the #1 guys for each staff through 8 innings of dominant baseball. Wonder if that can happen again here in New York.
And the big left-hander deals the 1-2. Foul back. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. Pretty nice night, 73 degrees, 65% humidity. Winds out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour, and the forecast is partly cloudy. The 1-2. Rosada could not hold on. Holding on the foul tips, John, is it total luck or is there a science to it?
No, it's probably mostly luck. I mean, you want to have soft hands where you can receive the baseball even on a foul tip, but, you know, it's just one of those things. If you come up with it, you're probably more lucky than anything else. And really, the first changeup CC has thrown, and it was a good one. He's got all 3 pitches early on.
1-2. 2-2.
Back-to-back changeups. That is really the difference for CC Sabathia, kind of getting to the next level. A 20-game winner, possible Cy Young Award winner this year. Right-handers now, you have to deal with a changeup, a fastball in and away, and a good slider.
The 2-2. Punch down the right field line, but it slices foul. This is what CC's done this season. Won 20 games for the first time. 224 innings. That's second in the American League behind King Felix. He is almost unbeatable here at home. And since June 1st, 17-4, 2.53. The 2-2. And there's a base hit to center field. Bartlett with a battle against CC, and Bartlett wins with a 1-out single.
Well, you wonder if that at bat right there will give the Rays some confidence. That is a big league at bat. Finishes it off with a base hit up the middle. You saw every pitch from CC Sabathia, fouled off the tough ones, and finally got a pitch to hit.
We told you that CC was behind Hernandez in innings pitched. So CC with 224, and Hernandez has 241.2 innings. He pitched today, and Toronto won 1-0. And in that game, Bautista hit his 50th home run. And also in that game, Ichiro got his 200th hit for the 10th straight year.
Nothing new there.
That's an American League record. The 0-1 to Crawford. Grounded to first. And Teixeira thought about the force, but just takes the out at first as Bartlett advances. Ten consecutive seasons of 200 hits. He came from Japan and has never looked back. And Bautista, 50 home runs, and first 50 home run player since A-Rod had 54, and Cecil Fielder, or Prince Fielder, had 50 a couple of years ago. So runner at second base, and here is Longoria. Pitch high. Longoria with a 5-game hitting streak, 7 hits and 20 at-bats.
We mentioned last night, Michael, I mean, Longoria really has to get the job done in the middle of this lineup. 104 RBIs, tied for 7th in the American League. CC behind in the count here, 2-0. We'll see if he comes right at Longoria, maybe face Zobrist, who's on deck. I think 248 against lefties this year.
Count 2-1.
Good call by Jorge Posada and a good pitch by CC Sabathia. A little 2-0 changeup. Had Longoria a little bit out front, looking for the fastball, doesn't get it. Fooled by the speed.
5 hits and 17 at bats against Sabathia, 2 home runs. Longoria has 5 RBIs in this series so far. And the 3-1. And Longoria walks. Now, CC Sabathia can get out anybody, John, but why would you risk Longoria when the rest of the lineup is so much more pitchable, if I can make up a word?
You know, you always pay attention to how does the beginning of the at-bat go, and it looked like CC was trying to get ahead of Longoria. Once he went behind 2-0, you pitch a whole lot differently. That 2-0 changeup showed you that, and you're going to go to a guy now, Zobrist, who's really had a down year after having a breakout season last year.
There's a strike.
CC looks like he has a nice rhythm. He only downfall early on. I'd say the velocity in the low 90s. We'll see if that improves as the game goes on. Looks like he's working both sides of the plate. Has found a nice rhythm early, especially here pitching out of the stretch.
Now, John, when you're behind the plate, is it unspoken that, okay, is 2-0 the line of demarcation? If you go 2-0 and the guy's a dangerous hitter going to pitch around him, do you have to tell him? Or does he know and it's just a look of the eye?
Yeah, I just think it's, you know, you probably have talked before the game, these two guys, about, you know, we don't want Longoria to beat us. If he comes up in a big spot, we'll be careful. Once you get 2-0, change the game plan a little bit.
IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. The 0-2. Fouls off the fastball.
Pretty good swing right there. I don't know if that's going to raise an eyebrow or CC Sabathia. And that was a fastball in, and Zobrist had a pretty good hack at it. I want to change it up, go to a slider or a changeup.
Grounded foul.
Michael, I probably sound like a broken record when we do these games, but you always pay attention in the first inning, because there are guys who warm up in the bullpen. They might have great stuff, and then they get between the white lines out on the field, and they're a totally different pitcher in the first inning. CC now one of those guys. It looks like he's brought his good stuff from the pen out to the game with him.
Zobrist dangerous with 2 outs and runners in scoring position since June 6th. Great numbers. And they're making Sabathia work.
Yeah, this doesn't look like it's maybe going to be as easy as it was in Tampa 10 days ago. Already 24 pitches in this inning.
Now, what's that communication there between Posada and Sabathia?
I'm sure it's something with the runner at second base, Bartlett. You know, he's been out there for a while now, and I'm sure Jorge has an indicator where maybe it's first, second, third, or fourth sign, kind of relaying that to CC, making sure they're on the same page, and obviously they are not. You have a runner at second base and he has seen, what, maybe 8, 9, 10, 12 pitches. You definitely change up your cadence with a runner at second. Dave Island's going to come out and have a talk.
Now, Island had to see something that he didn't like. And also he had to say, you know what, David Price is on the mound. We can't afford to just give up a run because of a mistake here. I guess he wants to get everybody on the same page. The 0-2. Now, in his last start against the Rays, CC went 8 innings. He threw 119 pitches. And he's a Yankees horse. They'll allow him to do that.
It's amazing. You don't even really think about pitch count with CC Sabathia. I mean, he can throw up in the 120s.
25 is a lot for the first inning, and he's not done yet. The 1-2. Grounded back to the mound. Sabathia fields and fires to first, and they just get Zobrist for the final out of an arduous first inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. The Rays nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat against David Price. First now, it's the Yankees' turn against David Price. Let's take a look at their lineup, which is presented by Lexus. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing right is Nick Swisher. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll hit third. Cleaning up to third baseman, Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano at second. Will bat fifth. Batting sixth and DHing Marcus Timms. Jorge Posada will catch. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. And to get another right-handed bat in the lineup, Greg Golson, the left fielder, will bat ninth.
The Yankee lineup going to face David Price, #1 starter for the Tampa Bay Rays. And we'll look at his numbers, and they are very impressive. 17-6, 2.79 ERA, only 156 innings, or hits, in 193 and 2/3 innings. And our scouting report, he will be a dangerous matchup if you have to face the Rays in a postseason series, a true #1, saving his best for last, 2-0 with a 1.55 in his 4 September starts. And he's still going strong for a guy who's going to pitch over 200 innings. And before this year, his high was 162 and 2/3. He'll be 40 over that and still going strong in the month of September.
And here's Derek Jeter. First hit that Price ever gave up in the big leagues was Derek Jeter hitting a home run. Now Derek has an 11-game hitting streak. If you wonder, well, what's Derek's longest hitting streak ever? 25 in 06. Count 1 and 2. Just underway here at the stadium, and this is one of those games that everyone around baseball will have their eye on. I wonder how Sabathia and Price are doing. Baseball players would get hooked into this one because it's, the top of your profession going up against each other as Price strikes out Jeter looking. Now, Shopik runs out to the mound immediately after that pitch.
And you wonder what they're going to talk about, because this at bat, there was nothing fancy. 4 fastballs in a row, the last one on the inside corner for strike 3. what you like about Price, Michael. I mean, obviously he has the stuff to be a #1 guy, but he stands out on the mound. He's not afraid to challenge with his fastball. And it's pretty straight. I mean, he has a little bit of movement. Sometimes he'll throw a two-seamer. He has the mentality to go with his stuff.
Here's Swisher, of course, batting from the right side, and he lines a single to right field. Nick has been very hot of late. He's now 8 for his last 19.
I guess when you see 4 fastballs in a row to Derek Jeter, you're going to go up to the plate ready to hit on the first pitch, and Nick Swisher gets a fastball and takes care of it, drilling it into right field.
John, I wonder if all catchers are superstitious or have a little bit of ADD. Check out Chapek. He will not go directly across the plate. He makes this big left-hand turn, doesn't want to walk on the batter's box or on the plate.
No, I can tell you all catchers do not have that ADD. That's just a little weird right there.
The pitch to Teixeira is inside. Teixeira hitless in his last 18 at-bats. He would not go near any of the white lines. And Swisher had to reach out to tap him on the shin guards.
Check out Mark's swings tonight from the right side. You know he's having problems with that right hand. You can see that little sponge in his right thumb. The swings left-handed have not been impressive lately. We see if they're a little better from the right side.
Foul back.
96 miles an hour now. 8 pitches into this ball game, and the velocity has increased about 5 miles an hour already for David Price. Starting to get loose.
Count 2-2. A-Rod's on deck. And the pitch. Driven out to right field and deep. Going back, Baldelli. He's on the track. At the wall. He leaps and makes the play. As Swisher heads back to first. Baldelli went back, knew where he was, measured it. A little tiny leap, and he hauled it in, taking an extra base hit away from Teixeira.
Rocco Baldelli back in the big leagues after a lot of health problems, and he does a nice job getting a feel for where the wall is. Timing his leap, got a little more room than he thought he had. It looks like the wind blowing a little right to left, moving that ball to the big part of the ballpark, and obviously the Rays love it.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. Pitch inside, 1-0.
You know, Michael, it's tough when you face a left-handed pitcher like Price or Sabathia tonight, and you're a right-handed hitter, and they can keep that fastball true on the inside part of the plate. It's a low strike right there, but it's you don't see it very often, and that's the difference why these guys are successful. Alex Rodriguez, usually when he faces a lefty, can eliminate the fastball in because they can't get it in there. That's not the case with Price. He will live inside.
1-1. Popped up. Shallow right. Long run for Baldelli, and he's there to make the play for the final out of the first. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 1. There's no score. Great partnerships are built on trust. At GE Capital, we prove that every day.
Well, CC Sabathia does a nice job getting off the mound, and he's got a little something extra on this throw to Mark Teixeira. You see that reaction, a little smile, nice partner play.
Here's Rocco Baldelli. A rare start for him. His first game this year was September 5th. He's had such bad luck in his career. He has a world of talent, and he has an autoimmune deficiency disease where he gets tired and worn down after playing for a little bit. And Joe Madden checks in with him every single day, see if he's okay. This is his first game in the outfield and shows how talented he is.
Yeah, it's great to see him back. And, you know, I was lucky enough to be with the Devil Rays then when Rocco was a #1 pick and came to spring training.
Grounded left side through for a base hit. So Baldelli making an impression early.
And you know what, Michael? A great guy with a ton of talent. And it's just sad that this health problems that he has had. But it was described to me last year when he was with the Red Sox. And you could see the resume. And I don't know if you've actually felt this, but it's like if you work out really hard,
right,
and then it takes a while to come back from that after you really hit the weights hard. That's what Rocco Baldelli deals with every day. He just doesn't recuperate like the normal guy would.
You lost me with the lifting of the weights.
That's
but
where
I
was kind of getting to.
Yeah.
You don't know what that feels like. You know, it takes a little while to recoup. Your muscles get back into it, and Rocco obviously has had problems with that, and they've worked with everything, protein shakes, you know, something to get him back. He can recover.
Now, he initially rejoined the organization as a special instructor during spring training, and then he signed a minor league deal on July 19th to play in Class A Charlotte. Felt good, but they have to watch him very closely. They can't push him.
Yeah, playing the field and obviously making a few plays in the first inning and now getting a base hit.
Ibar bunts straight up in the air. It's going to be a tough play. A-Rod Fields fires. That's a good play by the Yankee third baseman to get Ibar. Moving to second is Baldelli.
Well, it's a good play because I'm sure this is not in the scouting report on the Rays that Ibar has a possibility of laying a bunt down. Alex Rodriguez playing deep. Ibar laying the bunt down. It's not a great one. He pops it up, and you can see Alex gets a little tripped up with his footwork, off balance. Able to make a strong throw, and again Mark Teixeira doing the job at first base with a nice stretch, keeping his foot on the bag.
That's Ibar's second sacrifice of the year and 7th in his career. Here's Shopik. Chases a high fastball.
Shopik not having a quality year at the plate. 5 home runs, not bad for a guy who's had limited action, but he's got good numbers against CC Sabathia. 5 hits and 15 at bats. These guys work together in Cleveland. I think that Shopik has an idea of pitch patterns, maybe.
He caught CC 10 games while with Cleveland, and CC had a 3.14 ERA during those games. Pitch inside. In April, Sabathia had a no-hitter bid, and Shopik broke it up, much to the relief, I think, of Joe Girardi, who said he was going to lift Sabathia because of a pitch count, especially early in the season. Check swing. Did he go? No, said Tim McClellan.
Well, this was the no-hitter. It was broken up by Shopik, a legitimate hit. See Cervelli's reaction. You know, it caused a lot of discussion, Michael, amongst fans. You think Joe Girardi would have taken him out? He seemed adamant that he would have.
Well, the thing that bothered him is he was the one who brought it up in the post-game press conference. Nobody asked him. He said, why would I bring it up if I was lying? He said, I wouldn't have said anything. He said, I'm telling you, his importance to this team far outweighs whether or not he gets a no-hitter. And I would buy that. He said, we can't blow him out with an early high pitch count and then not have him for August and September. He said, that's all I care about.
Yeah, and he threw 111 pitches in that ball game, his second start of the regular season coming out of spring training. But once again, we've talked about it. I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions. That would not have been very popular, I'm sure, with CC and the fans.
And now everybody loves you up here.
That's not true.
It is true. Here's the 2-2. Strike three. Shopik down looking. Second strikeout for Sabathia.
I don't know what Shopik, he obviously doesn't like the call, and it's always dangerous when you're catching and it's your first at bat. You get called out on strike three. Looked like a pretty good pitch coming across the inside corner. Shopik doesn't like it. Let's Andy Fletcher know about it a little bit. He might have a legitimate argument. But if you're catching your number one guy, you always got to think you don't want to get the umpire on the wrong side of the street.
Sean Rodriguez takes a strike. If you're wondering about the medical name of what Rocco Baldelli has, it's channelopathy. They came up with the diagnosis finally when he was with Boston. And I guess you could Google it, but what it means is he gets tired all the time.
Yeah, and I had a talk with some of the trainers in Boston last year, and it's sad, really, because the things that major leaguers take for granted, taking around to batting practice, playing a game in the field, it just saps him of his energy. See how he rebounds during this game or even after the game.
He leads off second. And the 0-2. Strike three. Sean Rodriguez down looking. Third strikeout for Sabathia. No runs a hit, no errors. One man left. We go to the bottom of the second inning. There's no score on Yes. Next question is, which is the most impressive moment? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply, and we gave you these achievements earlier. Is it 1, hitting 50 home runs, or 2, winning 20 games? Bottom of the second, there is no score. Here is Robinson Cano against David Price. And the pitch outside, 1-0. Cano, the Rays have held him to 1 for 12 so far in the series. The one was a big hit against Randy Choate. That drove in 2 runs.
250 in his career, 4 for 16 against Price. No home runs.
There's a ground ball up the middle and a base hit. Let's take a look at the Rays defense, brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, Crawford, Upton, and Baldelli. Left to right, infield, Longoria, Bartlett, Rodriguez, and Zobrist. Third to first, Shopik is behind the plate, and David Price is on the mound. John, you're my space guy. Is that a full moon or a smidge past that?
I think it's a smidge past, but it's got a nice color. What do they say? If it's got an orange tint, it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow.
It does have an orange tint to it. Timms hits one deep to left. There it goes. See ya. A 2-run home run from Marcus Timms. And the Yankees are up 2-0.
See David Price read the lips a little bit, saying, I don't think I'm going to go back in there anymore to Marcus Timms, and for good reason. That is his 12th home run of the year. First pitch fastball down and in, able to drop the bat head. This guy's having an incredible year. He doesn't get many at-bats against righties. When he does, he still produces. First time we've seen him in this series. First at bat, it's a 2-run home run.
12th home run for Timms. Breaks an 0 for 10 slide. Comes into the game hitting .310 against lefties. And the pitch outside to Posada.
Call Shopik out. Going to have a little conversation. I thought he said something like, we're not going in there anymore. See how they pitch Marcus the rest of the game.
Fouled away. Against left-handers this year, 5 home runs for Timms, hitting .316. Fouled back.
Talked about Price, how tough he can be on righties when he keeps that fastball inside. I think Marcus Timms got a little bit of help because it was down. It's almost like a lefty where you take that swing and you drop the bat head. Marcus Timms does it from the right side.
Swing and a miss. And Posada down on strikes for the first out.
Fastball away. Might start seeing Price mix it up a little bit. A few fastballs in, start finishing some guys away so it doesn't become as predictable.
And he is still frustrated about that Timms home run.
Well, in a game like this against CC Sabathia, you know one swing of the bat might cost you the ball game here in the second inning.
Hot shot to second, and Rodriguez is right there. 2 outs. That home run was rare. It's the first home run that Price has allowed on the road since July 24th. When you hit a home run against David Price, a guy with a 2.79 ERA, this is not a good pitcher. This is an elite pitcher, and he's still young, and he's going to get better, and everybody in the American League knows how good he is.
Mentioned it earlier, you love his body language, but even after giving up that home run, the frustration. He's a competitor out there. He's got the stuff, he's got the mentality, and he competes. It's a pretty good mix.
Count 1-0. Foul back to the screen, 1-1.
Golson playing left field tonight. Brett Gardner gets a night off against a tough lefty, and I guess Austin Kern's still not feeling 100%.
And the count 1-2. And the pitch. 2-2. That one is lined into center field, and Upton is there, and that will do it. But the damage done against David Price. Leadoff single by Cano, and then Marcus Timms redirects a fastball into the seats and left. His 12th home run of the year and a 2-0 Yankee lead.
In front of my home crowd, and being at home with my family here, so that's definitely a goal of ours, to be able to have home field advantage throughout the American League side of the playoffs.
That was CC Sabathia in an interview with Kim Jones, and he's right. At home, he's 11-1 with an ERA of about 2.5. Yankees are leading this one 2-0. So let's go to the person who conducted that interview, Kim Jones. And Kim, it's amazing how much more comfortable he is on this mound. Not that he's bad on the road, but CC is just amazing here at Yankee Stadium for the 2 years now.
You're absolutely right, Michael. And last month when he was asked about pitching so well at Yankee Stadium, he said, I think it's my wife Amber's cooking. So he's serious when he talks about some home cooking and loving being here at Yankee Stadium. But usually CC will say his pitching approach doesn't change anywhere. It's all the same to him. He did admit there that he likes it best here, and the numbers indicate that, although, as you noticed, numbers aren't bad anywhere.
Now, he's 11-1 at home, as I mentioned, and he's 9-5 on the road. So the fact that he's so good and the fact that he's going to start the first game of the playoffs, you would think that that's incentive enough, Kim, for the Yankees to have home field advantage in the playoffs.
You would think so, Michael, and both Joe Girardi and Brian Cashman asked about that today. Joe's response was, I'm going to try to win the division as long as it doesn't hurt my players. Now, that's a gray area, because what he means partially by hurting his players is also getting some of those players some rest. And Brian Cashman said the most important thing is getting in. The second most important thing is making sure your players are as healthy as they could possibly be.
3 straight strikeouts looking for Sabathia as Upton goes down.
And Brian Cashman said that he has a list of concerns with this ball club that both admit is an aging club. He says we're better off right now than we were a week ago. A week ago, he was concerned about getting rest for some relievers. He was also concerned about Swisher and Gardner. Swisher and Gardner have come back fine, and he believes the relievers have gotten more rest lately, even if it's at the expense of an individual game. They are looking big picture. His biggest question marks right now and concerns, Mark Teixeira, who is just generally banged up, and David Robertson, who has the muscular issue in his back.
Jason Bartlett lines one right through the box and up the middle for a base hit. He is 2 for 2 against CC. And, you know, proof positive of what you're saying and what Brian and Joe are saying, Kim. Would the Yankees have liked to have won that game yesterday? Of course. But these are the relievers that they chose after the rain delay. Royce Ring, Dustin Mosley, Chad Godin, and Jonathan Albaladeo. If that was a game they desperately wanted, Kim, that's not the relievers they would use.
You're exactly right, Michael, and that's what Brian Cashman was referring to. And this is what he also said. You're going to see Royce Ring. You're going to see Godin. You're going to see Albaladeo. You're going to see Romulo Sanchez, who's been here, but we haven't seen him much, and Andrew Brackman, who arrived today and is in uniform. Brian Cashman said we have good depth, and we have to use it. So it's going to be a fascinating week if next week these teams are still jockeying for the division to see how both of these managers play it.
Now, Kim, we opened up the broadcast today and we likened Sabathia and Price to a heavyweight battle, and they both had very nice words to say about each other 10 days ago when they first met in St. Pete. Well, what is their relationship? Are they close? Do they have a relationship?
They absolutely do. They text each other during the season. Maybe this story best exemplifies their relationship, Michael. Last year, David Price, a bright guy, somehow forgot to pack his gloves for a trip to Yankee Stadium. He got here and realized, I don't have my gloves and I have to pitch. He sent CC a text message. CC didn't just respond to the text message. He sent a bunch of gloves over to the visiting clubhouse. CC laughed about it yesterday. He said they were all way too big for him, but he made one of them work. And David Price said, man, he didn't even have to answer that text message. Not only did he answer it, he really helped me out. They really get along very well, and they admire the way both each other pitches, with CC saying he's ahead of where I was at that age. David Price saying, I'm not so sure about that.
You know, one thing that I think that we don't really stress enough, Kim, we talk about CC a lot, and Brian Cashman has spoken on that one of the big reasons he wanted him, obviously, is his talent, but what he brings to that clubhouse. This is a legitimately nice guy.
Legitimately nice. We have worn him out on the Yes Network this year, Michael. He is nice to everyone. That is one reason everyone likes him so much, even the media. Imagine that. But seriously, he is a really great guy, and he has been fantastic with his teammates, both last year and this year.
Good stuff, Kim. We will talk to you on the postgame.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, that's Kim Jones. She'll be on the postgame with Jack Curry and Bob Loren. So back-to-back singles here in the third inning, and the Rays have runners on first and second with one out, and here is Longoria, and now they're in a situation where they really can't pitch around him.
No, they have to go get him right now with a 2-0 lead. Well, the Rays are doing a nice job making CC Sabathia work. You see that pitch count already, 51 with one out in the third. They have the right man up at the plate with first and second.
Pitch outside, count 1-0. Check swing, says Tim McClellan. Longoria 5 hits and 17 at bats against CC and 2 of the 5 home runs.
Well, this is the same count Longoria was in on the first at bat, 2-0, and CC Sabathia threw him a good changeup for a swing and a miss. We'll see if Longoria remembers that. We'll see if CC throws it again, or maybe he'll change it up.
Popped up on the change. Swisher is there. He'll make the catch, tagging as Bartlett just draws the throw. So that's a big out, retiring Longoria.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. Same count, same pitch, a changeup right down the middle. Longoria had a good pitch to hit. Check out where it ends up, middle up. You can see he's going to be a little frustrated. That was a pitch for Longoria to hammer, and he missed it.
Here's Zobrist. And a strike.
2 outs in the third. The Rays have had some opportunities. Some runners at second base haven't been able to come through with a big hit. For Zobrist right here, it would be a 2-out hit. Got to be thinking as a team, we're not going to have these opportunities all night. We've had a few early on in this ball game.
Sabathia stumbles. Time was called. So when he saw that Zobrist had stepped out and the home plate umpire Andy Fletcher had his hand up, he decided not to deliver the pitch.
Yeah, it looked like Jorge Posada called timeout. Stands up. Home plate umpire Andy Fletcher had given him timeout, but you just want to make sure your pitcher doesn't get hurt. And it looks like CC is okay.
55 pitches for Sabathia. That one is punched into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Rounding third is Bartlett. He's coming home. The throw not in time. Throw to second. They have the runner hung up. They get him in a rundown. Watch the runner at third. That's Crawford. Zobrist is tagged out before Crawford scores. So 1 run in on the RBI single for Zobrist, and then he is out trying to stretch. He gets caught in the rundown. So at the end of 2.5 innings of play, after the Rays score 1, Yankees lead this one 2-1 on Yes. Express. Enjoy the journey. The Red Sox come to town for the final series of the regular season for the Yankees Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday night. Then the Yankees head to the road for the final regular season road trip. 3 against the Blue Jays, day off on Thursday, and then 3 against the Red Sox. So here's Derek Jeter, 2-1 game, Yankees lead. He grounds it softly to short. Bartlett charges and flips, and there's one away.
Number 23.
Here's Nick Swisher. And a strike.
David Price established the first time through the order. He's not afraid to throw his fastball. Now back-to-back sliders. A little change-up to Nick Swisher. That's the ultimate game plan if you're a starting pitcher and a catcher. If you can throw your fastball first time through, then introduce a couple of off-speed pitches a second time.
The 0-2 inside. Foul ball. David Price, third in the American League, best ERA, following Felix Hernandez and the Red Sox Clay Buchholz. Chases a high fastball, 95 miles an hour. Swisher down on strikes.
That's a good mix right there for David Price. A lot of off-speed pitches early, and then he goes with a fastball up middle. Nick Swisher chases. But tough to lay off when you've seen a change-up, a couple of sliders, and then a good hard fastball up in the zone.
Here's Mark Teixeira, hit one deep to a right center field. Nice play by Rocco Baldelli, heading toward the track and making a little leap. And that one is driven down the right field line. Fair ball, it's trouble. It is a fair ball. Played out there by Baldelli. Strong throw, but not in time. Teixeira with a double, and that snaps it 0 for 19 for the Yankee first baseman.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier we're going to pay attention from the right side how his swings are with that injured right hand, and so far so good. 2 at bats. First one was drilled to right center. This one down the right field line. It's a fair ball off the wall, and a good strong throw from Baldelli, who has been busy early in this ball game in right field. Good signs for Mark Teixeira. Better swings from the right side than we've seen from the left side.
Runner at second here is Alex Rodriguez. That is Teixeira's first extra base hit since September 3rd.
Again, just like the Rays facing Sabathia, you feel like you're only going to have limited opportunities against Price. Alex Rodriguez a chance with 2 outs here. Runner in scoring position, Mark Teixeira. See if he can take advantage.
And Shopping wants to talk with Price. Now the double by Teixeira, his 300th of his career.
Sure, part of this discussion, you have Robinson Cano on deck. Obviously, the left-handed hitter hits lefties very well. First base open. A lot of things going on here in the third.
1-1. A-Rod with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year, 21 for 67. That's .313. And he's also driven in 30 runs and bashed 2 home runs during that time.
So, Michael, you start talking about first base open here in the 3rd inning, and the reason you do is because you have 2 number ones. You know that maybe 1 run is going to be the difference in this game. Start looking at every at-bat and every RBI situation a little bit differently when you have 2 number ones going at it.
Count 3-1.
Really trying to crowd Alex Rodriguez with the sliders in, the fastball in, the first at bat. It's like they're trying to keep him from extending his arms. We'll see what they do here. 3-1. Will they come right at him and challenge him, or maybe go off speed? Take your chances with Robinson Cano.
3-1. And he walks A-Rod, and he will take his chance with Robinson Cano. Let's see how they approached Alex Rodriguez. The pitch by pitch brought to you by Suzuki Kazashi.
Well, Alex Rodriguez's first at bat saw all fastballs, not this at bat. A first pitch slider that misses, a fastball down the middle by him, another slider down and in, another one off the plate inside, fastball in, misses. So Price definitely the second time through the order starting to introduce the slider and the changeup a little bit more.
Cano singled up the middle in the 2nd inning. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Yankees 2 and the Rays 1. Looks like Cano got something in his eyes. Strong wind around Yankee Stadium. The flag starts out. The ones that rim the top of the grandstand. Count 1-0. Cano with that single is 2 for his last 13, but he had been so hot before that that he's still 14 for his last 34, which is a .412 clip. Goes upstairs and chases 96. Count 1-1. He's 11 hits away from 200. Ichiro picked up his 200th today. The 1-1. 1-2.
David Price not messing around, back-to-back-to-back fastballs.
And a 1-2. 2-2. Cano is arguably the best at his position. I know you have Chase Utley in Philadelphia, but he leads all Major League second basemen in batting average, in hits, in RBIs. He gives you numbers that you usually would get at a corner infield position, and he gives it to you at second base. And he's probably going to win the Gold Glove this year. I'd be surprised if he didn't. The 2-2. That one is grounded to short. Bartlett goes the short way. They just get A-Rod going into second hard. No runs to hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We've played 3. It's 2-1 Yanks. far, great play in right center. Opened up the second inning with a single. I want to apologize because I had erroneously said that he had an immune system problem that was causing the fatigue, and the Rays training staff is obviously watching in the clubhouse downstairs, and they sent up word, and we thank them for that it was not anything with his immune system, and it was originally diagnosed as a mitochondrial disorder, and as we mentioned then with the Red Sox, it was then diagnosed as what it is channelopathy, and it's treatable. So we're fans of Baldelli here and what he's gone through. A great player, so I apologize for that, and I thank the Rays organization for giving us the exact terms of what he has. It was nothing with his immune system at all. So my sincerest apologies. So Baldelli has a 1-1 count. And the pitch. There's a strike. 1-2. When you were teammates with him, John, everything I've ever heard about the guy is he's just a top flight dude. Everything about him is great. People really root for him. Good guy to have on a team. Popped up. And Swisher makes the play.
You know, and I was only around him in spring training, Michael, when he was one of those young draft picks coming to spring training, but he made a huge impression on everybody on the field, obviously, for the talent that he has. But you're right, off the field, just a super guy. And, you know, I'm happy to see him back. I didn't realize that he was actually employed as an instructor.
Yeah. Because I guess he loves the game so much, and he was such a great athlete, could have done anything in any sport. He comes from Rhode Island, and, you know, he got a good contract with the Rays, and he was never able to really see his potential play out because of this thing that just saps him of his energy. It's awful. So we wish him the best of luck. This is the first time he's playing in the field all year. And the 0-1. Humpback line drive caught by Jeter. What kind of baby jump there by Jeter to haul it in.
See a look of confusion, and you wonder if Derek Jeter maybe lost this, or maybe Ibar got jammed so bad that it had a little slice on it. He goes to his right and then has to come back to his left. Obviously not as easy as a play as it looks off the bat. Almost a knuckleball effect.
And here is Shopping. Count 1-0. And the count 2-0.
CC trying to have his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Rays have one run on the board, but they have made him work 64 pitches already.
Time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. With 20 wins each, Sabathia and Halladay are tied for the Major League lead. Who was the last lefty to lead the Major Leagues outright in wins? Not sure. We'll find out, though, in the bottom of the fourth. 2 outs, 2-1 count on Shopping. Close, count 3-1.
Shopping was complaining about a slider down and in his first at bat, and there was a changeup pretty much looked middle of the plate. Andy Fletcher did not give CC Sabathia the call. Now Shopping ahead in the count, 3-1.
High fly ball. Fairly deep right field. Backing up Swisher. And will make the play right in front of the trap for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Yankees are leading the Rays 2-1 here on Yes. maximum Pepsi taste. And by Acura. Acura Advance. Not quite a full moon, but certainly looks great up there in the sky. Kind of a thumbtack against a velvet black background. 2-1 Yankees lead. And here's Marcus Timms. He's the reason the Yankees have two with one swing. 2-run home run in the second. And he hasn't played a lot lately, John, because the Yankees face so many righties, and Lance Berkman is essentially the lefty DH despite just being a switch hitter.
Yeah, that's what makes Marcus Timms in the year that he is having so amazing. He sees a first pitch slider, second pitch changeup. Didn't look real happy with that call. You don't expect Marcus to see a fastball inside unless maybe Price will show it in off the plate.
High fly ball, right field. Baldelli makes the play for the first out. A lot of celebrities in the house. You know, it's a big game. Amari Stoudemire throws a pitch just a bit up and away to a righty batter. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jay-Z in the house, and Donald Trump making some deals. Big game, big crowd, big celebrities.
Donald Trump always looking good, huh? The suit and tie.
I always wondered, do you think Donald ever walks around in a sweatshirt or jeans or something like that?
You can't even picture it, can you?
No, I can't. He's always tight, you know? Tightens it up. Perfect knot. And the pitch to Posada is inside and low, 1-0. Posada struck out in the second inning. Count 1-2. Time call.
Michael, the Rays were happy with themselves after that game last night. The rain delay, able to pull out a win. Now a game and a half back. They have the easy schedule coming down the stretch.
And Posada down looking, and looks back at Andy Fletcher. He does not like that call. All right, let's take a look at the answer to the New York State Smokers Quitline Quiz. With 20 wins apiece, CeCe and Roy Halladay are tied for the Major League lead. He was the last lefty to lead the Major Leagues outright in wins. The answer is Dontrelle Willis. Wouldn't have guessed that. Well, you look at what he was, and you just wonder what happened to Dontrelle Willis.
I guess there was something to all this high leg kick, and mechanically things can get out of whack awfully quick. And it happened. I heard he's trying to make a comeback as a reliever.
Is he with an organization?
Yeah, he was with somebody. I forget who it was.
He started a game against the Yankees when he was with the Diamondbacks, and he seemed lost on the mound. Like every pitch was just a question mark. He didn't know where it was going. Count 2-2.
Price has seemed to have found a rhythm now here in the fourth inning. A good mix of sliders, changeups, and spotting his fastball. I was mentioning Tampa and their record. They're going to go home and play Seattle, and they're not going to face Felix Hernandez. Good news for them. Baltimore comes in, and then they're going to go to Kansas City to finish out the year, so a relatively easy schedule.
We're told that Dontrelle is now in the San Francisco Giants organization. That one is looped into center field, and Upton is there to make the play. So a 1-2-3 for David Price and the Rays. We played 4 here at the stadium Yankees lead Tampa Bay 2-1 on yes. It's been unbelievably tight of late. We'll take a look at it in just a moment as Sean Rodriguez digs in against CC Sabathia as we start the fifth. Yankees lead 2-1. And there's a strike. The West, the Giants a half game behind the Padres. The Rockies just have lost 3 in a row. Long time to do that, lose they're 3 games back. And there's the wild card. Giants half game back of the Braves. And the Rockies 3 back. Who do you like in those battles, Joe?
You know, we talked about it a little bit. I think San Francisco has something special going on out there. Every time I watch them play, they're playing with a lot of emotion. It seems like they're playing together as a team.
Bunted by Rodriguez, foul.
You wonder about the Braves, though. You know, they went into Philadelphia, and that did not go well. See if they can stay afloat here at the end of the year, last 10 days. I find it funny, Bobby Cox, it's not funny, but Bobby Cox kind of making the rounds here, and they're honoring him at all these stadiums, and possibility they could get in the playoffs and end up in some of these stadiums again.
Only stadium that didn't honor him was in Florida.
Is that right?
Yeah, because he had said something negative about the Marlins organization after they fired Freddie Gonzalez, who he's very loyal to and friendly with. And so when he got there, they didn't give him anything. They didn't honor him at all. One, two. Still 1-2. Speaking of the Giants, John, they've pitched to a 1.54 ERA as a team this month. And they have a superstar young catcher who can hit and catch.
Saw him in a highlight hit a home run to center field, and right when he swung the bat, kind of had that flip at the end that he knew it was long gone. It was impressive power to straightaway center field.
Buster Posey.
Bruce Bochy, who I played for in San Diego, and another ex-catcher managing a club, doing a great job.
Swing and a miss. Sabathia dials it up against Rodriguez.
One of the best fastballs of the night for CC Sabathia had a little something extra. So Rodriguez was actually having a nice battle, having a good at bat. CC Sabathia able to reach back, get a little more, and get the fastball by him.
with that strikeout, Sabathia now ties Ron Guidry on the all-time strikeout list for Major Leagues. And CeCe's just 30 years old. That one is grounded, past a diving A-Rod, fielded by Jeter. Throw to first, could not be handled by Teixeira. So Upton reaches.
Well, you know Upton runs well. He has 40 stolen bases on the year, and he's out in front here on a changeup. Doesn't get out of the box in great shape. A nice play by Derek Jeter to go to his right to get it. The short hop. It's just gotten to the point, anytime a short hop goes over there to Mark Teixeira, you'd expect him to pick it up. When he doesn't, it surprises you.
Grounded right back to CeCe. There's one. And there's two. So a 1-4-3 double play. And we are quickly through half of this game. At the end of 4.5, it's the Yankees 2 and the Rays 1. Event, cocktail party, birthday party, and much more. For more information on how to book your next private event at NYY Steak, please contact Mary Gerges at 646-977-8041 or log on to NYYsteak.com. Been a great game so far. Not that many highlights. The 2-run home run by Timms, an RBI single by Ben Zobrist, and that's it, 2-1. That one is driven to left field. It is going to be a base hit. It goes up against the wall. Golson will go to second with a leadoff double.
It's a nice feeling for a player when you're not an everyday guy. You get an opportunity to get a start in a huge game here. Rays, Yankees, you get ahead in the count 2-0 and get a fastball and a nice short, quick swing. Drives it into the corner in left field, and then plenty of speed. Going to cruise into second base easily with a leadoff double.
Well, Price doesn't like to give up any hits. He gets really upset with himself.
You know, getting behind the number 9 hitter in the lineup, obviously not what he wanted to do, and that was his 5th hit, given up of the night. See if Derek Jeter can force a ball to the right side and Vance Golson to third.
And he's swinging away. Count 0-1. Jeter has 1 sack bunt this year. Jeter's swing, though, he'll take the ball to the right side, so there's a chance he could get a base hit, as well as moving the runner over.
Yeah, you hear hitting instructors all the time in this situation. I don't just want you to hit a ground ball to the right side. I want you to drive a ball the other way. If you're Kevin Long, has to be happy with what he has seen from Derek Jeter, driving balls to right center field lately. Be a nice opportunity here to do the same.
And that's exactly what he did, a base hit to right field. Golson's going to stop at third as Baldelli's throw is cut off by Zobrist.
Kevin Long loves it. It's fun to watch when you got a guy swinging the bat who can handle the bat.
Let's take a look at the swing of the Coors Light freeze can that gave Jeter a 12-game hitting streak.
It's not just hitting the ball, it's driving it the other way and directing it where you want it to go. Knob inside, drive it the other way. Worst case scenario, Golson is on third with a ground ball out. Best case, you got a base hit, possibility of scoring it. Golson froze on that a little bit, which you have to do. Wasn't 100% sure that it was going to be a base hit.
The Yankees are set up first and third, nobody out. And you got 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Swisher, Teixeira, and A-Rod. Count 1-0.
Obviously, Price, a #1 type guy, has the ability to strike some hitters out. If you're Nick Swisher, that's what you have to avoid here. Get a pitch out over the plate where you can get extended and make sure you hit it in the air.
That one is hit in the air down the right field line. And Baldelli runs out of room.
You wonder what's going through the mind of Nick Swisher right there. I mean, he drove that ball far enough for it to be a sacrifice fly, which would have gotten the job done, getting Golson in from third base, and it curves out into the seats a little bit. Now you got a chance to do it all over again. I wonder if he's thinking maybe stay fair. I'll take my sac fly. Job well done. See if he can repeat.
Check swing. Did he go? No, said Tim McCullough.
Tim McClellan, the first base umpire, has had a few of these calls tonight, and a good no call right there. Nick Swisher did not swing.
Two 1. 3-1. 1 pitch away from loading the bases. Rodriguez into right field. Golson scores. Jeter moves to second. An RBI single for Swisher, and the Yankees lead 3-1.
A nice job by Nick Swisher. I think most importantly, it took a 2-1 slider down and in. A tough pitch to take. Once he did that, he got a fastball out over the plate off the end of the bat, shatters his bat, strong enough just to drive it into right field, just out of the reach of Rodriguez. Now the Yankees start thinking about a big inning here, first and second, 1 run in, nobody out. 3, 4, 5 coming up here.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So Jim Hickey has a conference on the mound with David Price. Now, if you like positive stats, here is one. Yankees have 3 runs on the board, and they have not lost a game with Sabathia on the mound when they scored at least 3 runs since back on May 29th. 70 pitches, 42 strikes. Teixeira takes a strike. Teixeira robbed of an extra base hit. Nice running, leaping play by Baldelli in right center in the first, and then a double right in the third. Foul back.
You mentioned those first 2 at bats, Michael. The swings are 100 times better from the right side than they were from the left side. We've seen this whole series. Got a little more bat speed coming through the zone. Staying inside the baseball, driving it the other way. Good sign for the Yankees and Mark Teixeira.
Count 1 and 2.
Slider down and in, a little short. Shopik does a great job blocking it with his chest protector. Keeping Derek Jeter at second base, Nick Swisher at first. Keeping the double play in order for the Rays.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Price as he gets Teixeira.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, loves it. Looked like he had a little more bite on that slider.
Number 13, Alex Rodriguez.
Down and in, perfect location. Swings right over the top. A little extra finish on a good slider.
So here's Alex Rodriguez, 0 for 1 with a walk. Jeter is at second, Swisher at first. Yankees up 3-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Foul back. Boy, this kid throws hard. 95, 96.
Yeah, he throws hard, and he's able to keep it in on the hands of the righties. It was the first at bat for Alex Rodriguez. All fastballs inside, was not able to catch up. Price goes back to it here, his 3rd at bat.
Count 1-1. 3 previous starts here at the new Yankee Stadium. Price 0-1, 5.40. Lifetime against the Yankees, 6 starts, 1 relief appearances, 2-1, 3.22. This is a strange stat. You look at A-Rod's numbers, and you know the power numbers are fine. 25, 113. He's missed some time. But how do you explain this? And you see David Price in the 3 starts this season against the Yanks. A-Rod against left-handers this year is 28 for 133, 211. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, that's tough to explain there. I mean, the first thought that pops into your mind, maybe he doesn't pick up the changeup. A lot of lefties will throw their good changeup as their strikeout pitch to a righty.
I think it's 295 against righties. The 1-2. 2-2. And the pitch. An off-speed low on the count 3-2. So a 3-2 count, first and second with one out. One run already in. This will be the 80th pitch of the night for Price. And he walked him to load the bases. Let's see how they went after Alex Rodriguez. The pitch by pitch brought to you by Suzuki Kozashi.
David Price went right after him early in the count with his fastballs 2 in a row, 3 in a row, up out of the zone. Fastball away, 4 in a row. Then a slider down and in that misses. Another fastball up, ball 4. Power against power.
So Jeter's at third, Swisher at second, and A-Rod at first. And a strike. Price deals. Popped up. Shallow left. The shortstop Bartlett makes the call on the catch, and the runners stay put.
David Price has had a little something on his fastball. The last 2 at bats, Alex Rodriguez and Robinson Cano, up over 95, 96 miles an hour. Robinson usually does not have a problem with the fastball, just works right underneath it, a little pop up. Clearly going to be disappointed.
And that'll bring up Marcus Timms. Timms a 2-run home run in the second, then a fly ball to right. Foul away. In his last 15 starts, Timms has now homered 8 times. So he gives you production when he's up there. And there's a big spot in this game. This could open it up. Give Sabathia some breathing room. Fastball is fouled back. Timms had some big hits this year. Walk-off against the Red Sox. Walk-off against the Blue Jays. And then the 2-run home run tonight in the second inning. The 0-2 spoiled that, 97 miles an hour, so Price reaching back.
Yeah, David Price not messing around with the fastball in after that first at bat. Marcus Timms took care of that pitch. Everything since has been away. You're right, Michael, 97 miles an hour off the plate a little bit. 3 fastballs in a row. We'll see if he continues or maybe goes off speed.
Just missed. This is the hardest he's thrown all night, so obviously he has a little bit of a reservoir when he gets into trouble.
I'm sure he's thinking just what you said. This is a huge part in the ball game. Robinson Cano a chance to break it open, could not do it. Marcus Timms a chance.
1-2, swing and a miss. Got him with a breaking ball in the dirt, and Timms down on strikes. Yankees get a run on 3 hits, and the bases are left loaded. Still tied after 5. It's 3-1 Yankees. 2001, Prayer for America is held at Yankee Stadium following the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Demand greatness in every sip and every season. Johnny Walker, proud sponsor of the New York Yankees. Here's Carl Crawford. Count 1-0. Neither Sabathia nor Price have been as dominant as they were 10 days ago, but they've still been very good. Breaking ball strike. Crawford tonight is 1 for 2. And the count 2-1. Crawford, Longoria, and Zobrist against Sabathia. Count 2-2. You know, sometimes when a player signs a big contract, you wonder, wow, is he worth it? Now, worth it is relative in every walk of life. But when you get past, gee, he makes a lot of money, in the realm of baseball, is he worth it? Nice stop by A-Rod, but the ball does not stay in the glove and trickles out to Jeter, and that's a leadoff single by Crawford. And what I was getting to is that with the Yankees, he's 39-14, Sabathia, 3.21. Coming into tonight, 454 innings. And last year in the postseason, 3-1, 1.98. And this is a guy who's lived up to everything the Yankees could have hoped for when they signed him to that deal.
Well, then you're not even talking about his presence in the clubhouse, what type of leader he is among that pitching staff. He's done it on the field. He's done it off the field. Changed the feeling in the clubhouse.
Count 1-0. Well, certainly is in the Cy Young candidate. Some might say he's the favorite, and those are some of the candidates. Price, who you've seen tonight, Buchholz, and Hernandez. Count 2-0, and in his interview on the batting practice show with Kimberly Jones, he was very complimentary of Hernandez. He said, wow, what a great year he's having. But the argument obviously is, well, how many pressure-packed games has Hernandez pitched in this year? Does that mean anything? I mean, the Mariners are out of it after about a month. Every time Sabathia takes a mound, he's expected to win. Line down the right field line. It is a base hit. That's going to be trouble. It goes into the corner. Crawford round third. They're going to hold him up as the throw is cut off by Cano. It's a double for Longoria, and now the Rays are set up. Second and third, and nobody out.
Well, nice piece of hitting by Longoria going the other way, but a nice play by Nick Swisher in the corner. Whenever you have Carl Crawford on the bases and a ball down the line like this, you're thinking he's got a chance to score. Watch Nick Swisher plays this hop perfectly and gets his throw in there quickly. That holds Crawford to third base. Longoria in the second. And the Rays in business here in the sixth.
Well, here's Zobrist. Crawford at third and Longoria at second. Yankees will play the infield back. They'll give up that run in third. They don't want to be in. Have a ball squeeze through and allow Longoria to score the tying run. Zobrist has driven in the only run for the Rays. An RBI single right. And there's a strike.
We talked about opportunities all game long for the Rays. Their best situation here, nobody out, second and third. They made CC work all night.
Count 0-2. Rays 1 for 5 in these spots tonight. The Yankees 2 for 6. And the 0-2. Did he go around? Yes, he did. A big strikeout of Zobrist for the first out of the inning.
Big strikeout on 3 pitches. The last one, a changeup. Down and away, a little check swing. We've seen this a couple of times tonight. Tim McClellan, the first base umpire, finally rings one of the hitters up. You see Zobrist went too far. Tried to hold the swing up and could not. A big strikeout for CC Sabathia.
Now here is Baldelli. 1 for 2. Single to left and then had a fly ball to right. Ball inside, 1-0.
First base open and second and third. Baldelli up there. I would not expect CC to be pitching around him. Batting average under 200. 1 home run, 4 RBIs.
Slow roller, third base side. It's going to be trouble. It's going to be a base hit. It's going to mean a run. So an RBI infield single for Baldelli. Moving to third is Longoria. And now the Yankees lead is 3-2.
Some bad luck right there for CC Sabathia. He throws another changeup and a good one. Baldelli swings right over the top. It's almost like a perfectly placed bunt. And Crawford does a nice job getting a good jump coming down the line. He'll score easily. Longoria in the third and an infield hit and RBI for Baldelli.
And Baldelli comes out of the game for a pinch runner. It's going to be Desmond Jennings. So Baldelli with a big night, a nice play in the field, and 2 hits and 3 at-bats. Now the tying runs at third. Yankees in double play depth. Desmond Jennings a threat to run. Pitch inside to Willie Ibar. Ibar with a sac bunt in the second. Odd to see a designated hitter sacrifice, but that's what he did. And then he lined out, kind of a humpback line drive to Jeter in the fourth. And strike.
A lot of pressure on Ibar right now in a 1-run game. Runner at third base. You want to stay away from the double play. The ball in the air. Well, Michael, we talked about the Rays coming in here leading the American League in stolen bases. They've really not run a whole lot in this series. Been very conservative on the base paths.
Count 3-1. Shopik is on deck. Slice foul against the Yankee dugout fence. That's Andrew Brackman on the left. You know A.J. Burnett on the right. Brackman, a former first-round draft pick for the Yankees. And about 6'9", 6'10". And they actually activated him. He's on the active roster today. There's a Yankee veteran who's going to start tomorrow, Andy Pettitte, against the Red Sox. Josh Beckett will be his mound opponent. 3-2. A line drive that is going to be a base hit in front of Granderson. A run scores. Moving to third is Jennings. The throw not in time. It's an RBI single for Ibar, and the game is tied at 3.
CC Sabathia was trying to keep the ball away from Ibar, and it looked like he made a mistake middle of the plate. See Posada setting up away. Actually was on the outer half. Ibar does a nice job of reaching out, pulling it into the gap. Curtis Granderson, a strong throw. Jennings aggressive on the base paths, coming around second base, gets into third easily. Throw just offline a little bit from Curtis Granderson.
Now Jennings has great speed. Dave Island goes out and talks with Sabathia. And while the Yankees were getting set and Island was walking out, Shopik took a very, very long look at Tom Foley. And you wonder, this is a team that likes to do stuff like squeezes, suicide, or safety. This could be a good combination. Lefty on the mound, righty batter. Catcher can't see that clearly. Great runner at third. Let's see if Joe Maddon opts to go that route.
If you're Dave Island, you go out there and you talk about the possibility of a squeeze. You want to make sure Jorge Posada and Sabathia on the same page.
And he swings and foul tips the ball. Another very long look at Foley. Long look. Shopik has 1 sack bunt in his career. Pitch outside. So the Rays have managed 10 hits off Sabathia. The Yankees 7 off Price. And Jabba Chamberlain begins the throw. 98 pitches for CC. There goes any kind of squeeze in the count 1-2. With that changeup, he gets right-handers to roll over on that, and he gets a lot of double play grounders out of it.
Well, he's thrown a couple of changeups already to Shopik. Might have lost its effect. He might want to throw a fastball in on his hands, try to crowd him, maybe jam him, get a double play ball that way. Looks like they're going to go with a slider.
Missed inside.
Andy Fletcher, home plate umpire, was giving that pitch early in the ball game. Shopik actually struck out on one of these sliders down and in and complained a little bit. CC doesn't get the call on that one.
.66 strikes out of 100 pitches. The 2-2. Now 3-2. And Sean Rodriguez, who was struck out twice, is on deck.
Well, we'll see if Ibar is running from first base. You mentioned Jennings at third, a lot of speed. A lot to think about for Jorge Posada right here. Possibility to strike him out, throw him out, but you want to make sure Jennings stays at third base. You can't let him get a running lead.
3-2. He stays alive. Fouled the ball off.
Couple of sliders, and then they went with a 3-2 changeup, and it's down. Good job by Shopik just to get a piece.
The speedy Jennings is at third. Ibar knocked in the tying run. He's at first. 1 man out. 3-2. Still 3-2. And the pitch. Missed outside. So Shopik walks, and that loads the bases with 1 out. Now the wheels are turning between Girardi and Madden as Sean Rodriguez steps in. He struck out looking in the second, swinging last inning in the 5th.
When you strike out a few times in your ball game already, you know you're going to go up there. You want to put something in play early. We'll see if CC can use that aggressiveness to his advantage. Something down, hope for a ground ball.
And Rodriguez goes down.
Sabathia goes with the slider. Rodriguez fouls it right off his left shin. Does not have any protection on that shin.
Five for 13 with the bases loaded. Rodriguez came over to the Rays in the Scott Kazmir deal from the Angels.
Remember back to spring training, he had an incredible spring training, hitting home runs it seemed like every day down in Florida.
Missed outside. Sabathia has thrown 30 pitches this inning. 106 on the game. 1-1. 2-1.
Going with a lot of off-speed pitches to Shopik and now to Rodriguez. 8-9 in the lineup. A slider and back-to-back changeups from CC as Dave Island, the pitcher coach, looking on. He's gotten away from his fastball a little bit here. I know he's thinking about a double play, trying to get it with an off-speed pitch.
The 2-1. Yeah, he keeps missing outside. And a count 3-1. And a pitch away from forcing the inner run.
The last 3 pitches, he's kind of falling a little bit towards the third base line. Arm angle drops a little bit, and you push the ball away from a righty. Got to make a big pitch right here, 3-1. Think of something down and away and take your chances.
Strike. Rodriguez tosses the bat away, not making any friends with Andy Fletcher.
With Joe Madden saying that that pitch is not anywhere close, we're going to get another look. Posada setting up away. And he kind of raises his body to catch it, which makes you believe it might have been at the top of the zone.
And the 3-2. Popped up and out of play.
Another changeup, a 3-2 changeup. Really going to a lot of off-speed pitches here.
The payoff. He walked him, and that forces in a run. And the Rays now lead 4-3. How rare is that for Sabathia to walk in a run? And that's going to do it for CC, as Joe Girardi is going to call on Jabba Chamberlain.
Back-to-back walks. Walks the number 8 hitter and number 9 hitter in the lineup. The fastball did not miss by much.
That's the second time this year CC has walked in a run with the bases loaded. He does not know where that pitch was. He might have gotten a gift on the previous ball 3. 4-3. come on back. Well, the big bout that we ballyhooed at the start, CC Sabathia's got knocked out in the 6th round, and coming in for him is Jabba Chamberlain to face BJ Upton, bases loaded, and promptly throws one in the dirt as CC can only watch. So he cannot get the win. He could certainly take this loss. He lost to just 5 1/3. And David Price still in there, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. Sabathia 4 runs, and the runners on base his responsibility. There's a strike. Now, how close was this pitch, John?
Well, that was the 3-1 pitch, which was strike 2. And this was the 3-2 pitch from the side. We'll take a look from overhead. That was 3-1, which was a strike for 3-2.
That one is driven deep to left center field. Giving chase is Granderson on the run, still going back, and it lands on the warning track and then bounces into the bullpen for a double. 2 runs will score, and the Rays lead the Yankees 6-3.
Three sliders in a row to BJ Upton. First one was down, second one a strike, and not just a little spinner. Get me over just out of the reach of Granderson. Ends up in the Rays bullpen. BJ Upton, who has not done a whole lot in this series, comes up with a big hit.
Now the Yankees have to bring the infield in. You got David Price as the opposing pitcher. You can't fall that far behind. And here's Bartlett with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Swing and a miss. Jabba Chamberlain celebrating his 25th birthday today. And that was not a great gift served up by BJ Upton.
Again, Bartlett taking a long look down at Tom Foley, third base coach. There's a little conversation with Rodriguez. We'll see if it means anything.
Grounded to Jeter. Check the runner at 3rd. The out is made at 1st. And that'll bring up Crawford, who started it all. Of course, with 2 outs, the infield could back up. Ground ball, base hit to right field. Rodriguez scores. Here comes Upton. He's going to score. It's a 2-run single for Crawford. And the Rays now lead 8-3.
Carl Crawford having a big night. His 3rd hit of the ball game already with 2 outs here in the 6th. CC Sabathia can only watch. Sada setting up in. It's a fastball down. Carl Crawford just drops the bat head. Pulls it right in the hole between first and second. And with the speed of Upton coming around second base, Nick Swisher did not really how to play anyway. 2-run score.
Here's Longoria, the 11th man to come to the plate, and Javier Vazquez starts to loosen up. So Sabathia, who has been so brilliant here at Yankee Stadium, has now allowed 6 runs in each of his last 2 home starts.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what CC has to say after the game. Kind of got away from his fastball here in the 6th inning, especially to the 8 and 9 batters in the lineup.
Now CC's final line is 7 innings allowed in this start, and that's a season high. On strike. I'm sorry, I said 7 innings. 7 runs allowed in this start is a season high for CC. Two for 2 in the inning for Crawford, 3 for 4 on the game. High fly ball, center field deep. Going back Granderson, and he'll make the play. But the damage has been done. The Rays put a 7 spot on the board in the 6th inning. At the end of 5 1/2, the Rays lead the Yankees 8-3. Impressive moment. You've been texting us at 58772, and here's how you voted. 53% think it's 20 wins, and 47% think it's 50 home runs. Well, I think 50 home runs is nowadays a little more difficult. Here's Posada, 28 minutes for the top of the 6th inning for the Rays to score 7 runs. And Posada fouls it back. That is just a shocking development to see that happen to Sabathia, who's been so solid and so steady this year. And of the 8 runs, 7 are on his ledger.
David Price quickly jumps ahead of Jorge Posada, 0-2. 5 runs to work with now. Could be very aggressive.
And he throws a breaking ball in the dirt. Posada swings over the top. Remember, the whole specter of the game could have changed in the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees had the bases loaded and 1 out. And Cano popped to short, and then Tim struck out. And Price got tough when he had to and kept it right there at 3-1. Grounded to second. Rodriguez gets Granderson to the 2nd out.
He's a Grammy and Oscar-winning artist. And later tonight, Phil Collins sits down for an all-new GMC Presents Center Stage with Michael Kay. The singer-songwriter discusses his life in the spotlight, from his early days in Genesis to his solo albums and his plans for the future. I can feel it coming in the air tonight, only on Yes.
He was very good. Very cool to have him on the set. And there's a strike to Greg Olson. Count 0-2. Very clever, John, how you were able to weave in one of Phil Collins' songs into the promo.
I just kind of threw it in there. You picked up on that at the end?
Yeah. I didn't think you could get Susu Studio in there, but you did get one. Here's the 0-2. Count 1-2.
I'll tell you what, David Price has got 7 runs in the 6th inning to work with, and he's coming out here a man on the mission in the bottom of the inning, jumping ahead quickly in the count.
Grounded slowly to short. Bartlett, bare hands, fires, and Golson has an infield single.
Golson had a double to lead off the 5th inning. Picks up an infield base hit.
Let's take a look at the IOTV HD Super Shot.
Bartlett, one of the best in the business, bare-handing, but it doesn't have a lot on the throw, and the way Golson runs, he's going to beat it out for an infield hit. Looks like he gets a pretty good grip, too. A little two-seam across the seams. Just not enough arm strength.
So 1 on with 2 outs, and here's Jeter. Price deals inside. Count 2-0. Vasquez continues to throw.
97 pitches right now for David Price, and he has thrown 122 in a ball game this year against the Minnesota Twins.
The 2-0. Chases a high fastball.
Michael, you don't really hear anything about the Rays being concerned with his innings. I mean, it's going to end up over 200 innings. He threw 162 2/3, I think, last year. So a dramatic increase in innings, but you don't hear a lot about it in Tampa.
Yeah, most teams think that a jump of 40 innings is okay. But he's going to be above that, right, John?
Yeah, he'll be above that. I mean, have at least one more start. And then obviously the playoffs. He's having a nice month of September, so showing no signs of fatigue.
This will be his 100th pitch of the night. This 3-1 delivery to Jeter. Boy, he continues to power fastballs. 3-2.
Fastball up away a little bit. Like Derek pulled off, maybe thinking about pulling that fastball, couldn't do it.
Now, last year, Price threw 128 innings in the majors and 34 in the minors. So certainly different levels of work for sure, but they do add them up. Runner goes 3-2, and Jeter works it off. So he's on for the second time tonight. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Fios TV, Internet, and Phone. It's time for Fios. And Josh Beckett, 5-5, 5.71, a disappointing injury-filled season for him with the Red Sox against Andy Pettitte, his second start off the DL. 6 innings, 79 pitches, 1 earned run against the Orioles on Sunday, 11-2, 2.81. Our coverage will begin at 6 on Yes with the batting practice show, 6:30 pregame, and first pitch right around 7:07, 7:08. There's Andy. All right, here is Nick Swisher. One big swing could put the Yankees right back in this. They are trailing 8-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Now 1-0. And now Hickey comes out and joined by the entire infield.
Yeah, I'm interested to see right here how Price reacts. I mean, Nick Swisher ahead in the count now, 1-0. Will David Price challenge him with his fastball that still has plenty on it? We saw CC Sabathia kind of get away from his fastball in the 6th inning.
Chad Qualls pitched yesterday, warming up again today for Tampa Bay. Count 2-0. Now Price threw 122 pitches against Minnesota. That's his high pitch count. And he's at 103 right now. The 2-0. Strike. The Rays made such a quick jump when they got to the World Series in 2008. They'd been so dreadful for so long. That's why they were able to get a #1 draft pick while they were going to the World Series that year. And it just worked out perfectly for them. And like all the planets aligned. Count 3-1. Usually you have the #1 pick in the draft. You don't make that move up the standings that quickly. But Price was able to be a part of it.
See a little look of frustration on Joe Maddon, the manager's face. It looked like things were going to go pretty quickly here, and you see the numbers under Joe Maddon. Impressive.
And Price walks Swisher, and the bases are loaded. So CC struggled in the top of the 6th. Now Price certainly struggling a bit here in the bottom of the 6th.
And it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, a strikeout of Jorge Posada, first pitch ground ball to Curtis Granderson, infield hit to Golson, and back-to-back walks. Mark Teixeira has an opportunity here to get the Yankees right back in this thing.
Last time Mark Teixeira hit one out was August 31st. He has 30 home runs, 101 ribbies. That one's driven deep to center field. Upton back, still back. He'll make the play on the run for the final out of the inning. So Teixeira tagged it, but Upton, who plays shallow, got back there quickly and hauled it in for the final out. For the Yankees, no runs a hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded as this ball settles into the glove of B.J. Upton to the delight of David Price. Possible. Jabba Chamberlain finished the sixth inning, gave up some big blows in that inning, and the Yankees now turn to Javier Vasquez, their third pitcher. Let's take a look at the Rays in-game box score, which is brought to you by McDonald's. There's a lot of hits there, especially the first 7 batters, 2 by Upton and Bartlett. Crawford with a big night, a big double for Longoria. Zobrist with a ribby, Baldelli a ribby, a run scored, a great play in right center. Ibar a ribby, and a walk and a run scored for Shopik, and also a walk and a run scored for Rodriguez. So David Price seemed like he ran out of gas all of a sudden in the 6th, but a hard hit ball by Teixeira was run down. And the pitch by Vasquez is low to Zobrist. And they could have a lot of laughs because that ball was caught. Well, we built it as a boxing match, and a lot of punches thrown this time. They certainly didn't provide that much resistance, and neither pitcher pitched the way they did 10 days ago. And those are the numbers on Vasquez. Count 3-0. On the Verizon Wireless scoreboard, 8-12-0 Tampa Bay, 3-8-0 for the Yankees. Strike. And the pitch. Strike.
So Javi Vasquez in the second game of this series hadn't pitched for a long time before that. Actually did a nice job that night throwing the ball over the plate.
and a walk issued to Zobrist. Hey, visit the official online shop of the New York Yankees at Yankees.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, T-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Yankees.com shop. And Desmond Jennings takes pitch outside, 1-0. Tampa Bay over the Yanks. We're in the top of the 7th inning here at the stadium. Final game of this 4-game set. 3 more games in the regular season here at home, and they're against the Red Sox starting tomorrow night. Jennings fouls it back. They look at Jennings, and Jennings is the heir apparent to Carl Crawford's spot in the outfield. Now, it's going to be very, very difficult to beat Carl Crawford. He's one of the best players in baseball. He's a free agent at the end of the year. In all likelihood, the Rays will be unable to sign him. But they love Jennings, and he is the guy who will step in. 23 years old. One. 1-2.
Anytime Jorge Posada takes a shot to the face mask, now you start thinking about that concussion a few weeks ago. Straight off the mask. Start thinking differently about those now, Michael. You know, you always ask me, do they hurt? You know, it looks a lot worse than it actually is. We didn't know a whole lot about all these concussions that maybe you hear about now. Remember Mike Matheny? He was a very good catcher in my time and ended his career because of concussions like that.
Now that you hear what the symptoms are for concussions, do you think that you might have had some in your career?
You know what? I think of a few times, and I remember, I always say it's our good friend Mike Mussina, but I was a play at the plate where I got my bell rung pretty good. And I had to go out to the mound. I mean, I was seeing stars and kind of wasn't sure where I was and needed a little time to regroup.
Runner goes, and the pitch hits Jennings. It was an off-speed pitch. 67-mile-an-hour breaking ball. So Jennings gets plunked first and second.
And, you know, at that time, you don't think anything about concussions. You just think, I got my bell rung, and I'll be fine. I went back behind the plate after a minute or two on the mound. But now you start thinking back, and maybe there were some symptoms.
Well, Posada goes out and talks with Vasquez here. Yankees need to hold it at 8-3. The Rays sport a pretty good bullpen.
I mentioned Vasquez pitched a couple of games ago and hadn't pitched in a while before that, and actually did a nice job. Looked pretty sharp throwing the ball over the plate. Not tonight. Leadoff walk and hit by a pitch. Needs to find a way to regroup here, get a double play ball.
As a reliever, this is his 5th game, and so far he's done a good job in this role. 2-0, 10 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, walked just 2, and struck out 9. He's going to have to pitch well in this role, or he's has no chance to make the postseason roster. And Ibar swings and misses, count 0-2. The 0-2.
Saw Ibar on that changeup away, kind of moving towards the outside corner of the plate, leaning, trying to hook a ball out there. We'll see if Javi Vasquez, Jorge Posada throw a fastball in to keep him off of that changeup away.
And that one hits Ibar. Another hit by pitch. And Ibar will go to first, and the bases are loaded. And Dave Island has to go down or go up and then settle down. Javier Vasquez.
Well, I think they saw Ibar kind of leaning out over the plate, and they decided to try to run a fastball inside to get him off of the plate. And Javi Vasquez just yanks it. And you can see the look on his face, the way he turns away. The body language tells you he was not trying to do this. Actually got a piece of both of his legs, just a fastball that was yanked inside.
So bad situation here for the Yanks. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tony Pena and Joe Girardi talking it over. Here is Kelly Shopik. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And another hit batter. And that'll force in a run. 3 straight hit batters by Vasquez, who has no idea where the ball is going right now. And the Rays lead 9-3.
Again, another off-speed pitch, and I think it was a curveball that just got away from Javi Vasquez. And obviously, you don't like any pitches up and in, but it looked like a curveball, maybe a changeup. Oh, it's definitely a curveball. It's that left shoulder.
This is not a good sign, John. As Shopik gets plunked, there's nobody up in the Yankee bullpen. Nobody. There's not even any stirring. Dan Johnson now is going to pinch hit for Sean Rodriguez. 3 straight hit batters and a walk. And there's a run in and still nobody out and the bases loaded. There's a strike.
We saw Dave Island on the phone in the bullpen, so we'll see who's going to get up.
The 0-1. Driven out to right field. Swisher on the run. Makes the catch. Tagging is Jennings. He will score. It's a sac fly for Johnson as a pinch hitter. And now it's 10-3 Rays. John, you've been doing this a long time. Have you ever seen 3 straight batters get hit?
No, I don't think so. And especially from a guy, Sergio Mitre, getting loose. A guy like Javi, who's a veteran pitcher. I mean, you could see some young kids coming up where nerves come into play and they don't know where the baseball is going. It's obviously a little in front of us here, but the postseason roster decisions are being made as you watch performances. And you saw the numbers for Javi as a reliever. They've been pretty good, but he looks lost tonight.
Pitch outside. Check swing, says Tim McClellan. The 1-0. 2-0. Top of the 7th. 7 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. And the Rays still batting. A 3-1 Yankee lead going into the 6th inning has been just obliterated. And Vasquez having a hard time throwing strikes. It's now 3-0. Vasquez, before this appearance, had thrown 149 and 2/3 innings. He'd hit 4 batters all year. And there's a walk to Upton. And the bases are reloaded. And Joe Girardi also knows if he takes out Vasquez, he is going to be booed so loudly as he walks to the Yankee dugout.
Well, you can't be thinking about that, can you?
No, I don't think that will enter into decision, but maybe he thinks the game's out of hand anyway. He's going to give Vasquez a chance to get out of it, but you're right, that's not foremost on his mind, but he knows that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Fans are booing now, they're loading up. Here's Jason Bartlett. And the count 1-0. Now, if Vasquez had an outside chance to make the postseason roster, he's pitching his way off at this inning. 23 pitches, 8 of them strikes. There's a strike. 6 batters he's faced, and yet no official at bats. A walk, a hit batter, a hit batter, a hit batter, a sac fly, and another walk. The pitch. 2-1.
Well, you know, Javi Vasquez is trying to throw strikes. It looks like mechanically maybe a little side to side. We're seeing the same mistake, yanking the ball down and away. Jorge Posada, you got to try to keep him in there with that front shoulder, keep that left shoulder driving to the plate.
Count 2-2.
Better.
So Posada trying to nurse Vasquez through a very difficult inning. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on a breaking ball. So Bartlett down on strikes for the second out.
A couple of good fastballs, and then he throws a little slider down and away, gets a swing and a miss. Obviously, have not been too many good pitches in this inning for Javi. That was the best combination there.
Here's Crawford, who is 3 for 4. Pitch outside. And a strike. High fly ball, right field. Swisher is there, and that'll do it. But the Rays scored 2 runs on no hits, and the bases are left loaded. The end of 6.5. Yankees trail 10-3. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium, but we'll stay where we are to honor America in the Bronx.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you.
And Kimberly a little bit later on the post-game show. Let's take a look at the Yankees in-game box score. Derek Jeter with a hit, and that extends his hitting streak to 12 straight. Nick Swisher with 2 and a ribby. Mark Teixeira a double, and that broke it 0 for 19 for him. Alex Rodriguez 2 walks. Cano 1 for 3 with a run scored. Marcus Timms a 2-run home run, and Greg Golson his first multi-hit game as a big leaguer. And the in-game box score brought to you by McDonald's. Mike Ekstrom is going to relieve David Price. And the new second baseman is Ben Zobrist. There's a ground ball to short. Bartlett. Over to Dan Johnson for the first out. So Zobrist moves from first to second. Johnson will pinch hit for Rodriguez, takes over at first. And those are Ekstrom's numbers.
Been up and down all year long to Durham. AAA is 4th time with the Rays, and you see the numbers. 8 walks.
Verizon Wireless scoreboard 10-3 Tampa Bay. So if the Rays hold on, they are essentially in a tie with the Yankees for first place. They're tied in the loss column, and then the standings will have them just a half game behind the Yankees. But they will make up that game. They'll play all 7 days next week. The Yankees have a day off, so they played 1 less game than the Yankees. 1 fewer game. Popped up down the left field line. Crawford runs out of room. This is the way the 2 teams stack up, and also you throw in the Twins for the best record. Yankees have 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against Toronto in Toronto, and 3 against the Red Sox at Fenway. That's not that easy. The Rays, they'll play Seattle 3 games, but Felix Hernandez will not face them because he pitched today. Then 3 games against the Orioles, and then 4 to finish up in Kansas City. The Twins, 3 at Detroit, 3 at KC, and 4 against Toronto. Yankees and the Twins are tied for the best record in the American League, and the Rays at this point a game and a half back. 2-1. Fouled away.
And I guess the Rays would have signed up coming in here if this one holds up the way it is right now. 2-2. They go back home the same way they came in, and they play the easier schedule down the stretch.
Now the Yankees cannot tie them, though, because if the Rays win this game, then they would have taken the season series 10-8. That's the first tiebreaker if both teams are going to the playoffs. If the Yankees had won tonight, and there's still a possibility, although not a great one. If the Yankees had won tonight, then the next tiebreaker would be record within the division. And at this point, the Rays have the better record within the division as well. But the Yankees' remaining games are division games, and they could have overtaken the Rays. But this is the first tiebreaker, and if the Rays win this, that's a serious blow if they're both tied. Well, it's a death blow. There's no way the Yankees would overcome that. The Yankees would then go in as a wild card, and the Rays would go in as the AL East. There's a base hit for Cano, another multi-hit game for him. Here's Marcus Timms. At the time, he struck what looked like a huge blow in this game, especially you figure Sabathia against Price was going to be pitcher's duel, and Timms' 2-run home run in the second gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Now, as for Cano, he said another multi-hit game, another as in his 56th of the year. And he now has 190 hits on the season. Does he have 10 more in the next 9 games? Breaking ball, swung on and missed, count 1-1. So Joe not electing to go with Berkman here, pinch hitting against the righty Ekstrom. He stays with Timms, and that's not outrageous because Timms has done a very good job against righties this year. He's known as a lefty specialist pinch hitter or DH, but he's done a good job. Oh, nice play by Longoria. There's one on to first. It's a double play. That was almost an excuse me pick by Evan Longoria. He took a base hit away and turned it into a double play. No runs a hit and nobody left on base. We go to the 8th. It's 10-3 Tampa Bay. Today to join the New York Yankees for another exciting season at Yankee Stadium in 2011. For more information, all you have to do is call 212-YANKEES, log on to Yankees.com, or email seasontickets@Yankees.com and do it today. Well, there are wholesale changes for the Yankees. We will give them to you as we move along. But obviously, Joe Girardi is setting up the white flag here in the 8th inning with the Yankees down 10-3. And the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, is going across to Joe Madden to tell him exactly what the changes are. Javi Vasquez still in there. But from what I could see up here, you've got Juan Miranda at first. Nunez is at short. I believe Kevin Russo at second. There's Nunez. And Pena is at third. And there's Russo at second. And there's Pena. So the entire Yankee infield is out. Colin Curtis is in right field for Nick Swisher. And I believe that Greg Golson has moved somewhere. I also think that Marcus Timms has taken over. And is that him in left? Yeah, in left field. And Golson is in center. There's Marcus. And Golson moves from left to center. And then there's Chad Moeller. So everybody is out as Brignac grounds one to third for the first out. So only Golson from the original starting lineup is in there, and he's in a different position. So Brignac pinch hitting for Longoria, grounds out. Now, we'll tell you how they've done it, and this is the way the Yankees have made the lineup out. Nunez, Curtis, Miranda, 1, 2, 3. Pena, Russo, Timms, 4, 5, 6. Moeller, 7th. Vasquez, because you lose the DH. Timms was the DH. He's going to bat 8th. And then Golson remains on the number 9 hole. And that's how the defensive schematic works out. I was just talking to the Yankees radio play-by-play voice, John Sterling, and he does a pregame show with Joe Girardi every day on the radio. And he asked Joe Girardi, would you say that this is the most important game of the year up to this point? And Joe Girardi said, yes, I would. And now the Yankees are losing this one 10-3. It's always dangerous to say this is an important game because what goes on after that? Now, again, it was John Sterling. According to John, he posed the question. I believe that this is the most important game of the year. Do you agree? Yes, I do.
Yeah, but it's very easy to defend yourself right there if you're a manager and said every game that's in front of us is the most important game of the year.
Right.
So, I mean, that would be an easy defense for Joe Girardi. And I think maybe one of the most anticipated games in the year with David Price, #1, going against CC in your building, trying to spread out a little advantage in the American League East.
Do you think, John, that if the Yankees had won the game, that they'd be in good shape to win the East because they'd be 2 up with the 9 games remaining? Now, they have an easier schedule, the Rays do, but still 2 games and 9 games left, 10 for the Rays. That's a pretty nice margin.
Yeah, this was a big game from that standpoint. But you know what? For both clubs, when you have your #1 guy out on the mound, you look at those games as must-win games, because when you lose with a guy like CC and this game's not over yet, obviously, you feel it a little bit more because you expect him to win when he pitches.
Right. The 2-2 outside.
Meanwhile, for a few games in this series, we've been talking about the Rays.
That one's grounded to second on the bat of Zobrist, 2-1.
First 2 games of the series, we were talking about the Rays having a little trouble scoring runs recently. They do a nice job last night picking up a win and scoring 10 runs to this point. And some helps on a lot of walks and hit by pitches, obviously. Still putting the runs up on the board, and I'm sure they're feeling a whole lot better about themselves now after these last couple of games.
Here's Desmond Jennings. Count 0-1. And the pitch. Count 1-1. Strike. There's a ground ball ashore. Nunez to Miranda, and that will do it. So Vasquez, much better than his previous inning, retires the Rays in order. We go to the bottom of the 8th. music and computer world, and by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Jake McGee, young left-hander, second left-hander in the bullpen for the Rays. Randy Choate being the first. He comes in to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. And a couple of changes as well. You see the numbers on McGee as Brignac takes over at second. Zobrist now moves to third. So within 8 innings, John, Zobrist has played 3 positions. First, second, and now third. And there's Brignac at second. Here's Chad Moeller. With all the switches, he ended up in the number 7 hole.
Saw McGee earlier in this series, a hard-throwing left-hander. Get it up there in the mid-90s.
Count 1-1. So the Yankees win the first 2 games of this series. They lose last night. And unless they have an unlikely rally over these next 2 innings, they're going to lose tonight. So they split the 4-game set, and the Rays and the Yankees will part ways the exact same way they started it on this 4-game set, just a half game separating the 2. The Yankees in front as Upton runs it down for the first out.
I got to imagine if it stays the same way, the Rays are going to be leaving here with a lot more confidence than when they came in. They were a struggling ball club coming in. They lose the first 2 games of the 4-game series. And it looks like they're going to rebound to win the final 2. See if they can take that momentum back home. A little series with the Mariners.
And here's Kevin Russo, his first at bat. There's a strike. Popped up and out of play. Ball goes one way, back goes another.
It's going to be interesting, Michael, to see how this whole thing plays out. Obviously, the Rays and the Yankees are probably both going to get to the playoffs, but who will they match up against? It might go down to the wire with the best record and home field and all these other things. And I know you like the Twins ball club. You think they might make a little run here in the American League. See if Josh Hamilton can get back with the Rangers, get some games in, some at bats, and prove he's healthy.
The 0-2. Those are the standings right now. The Yankee magic number is still at 3, and that's to clinch a postseason berth, not to clinch the American League East.
What did I read today? Mariano Rivera would not celebrate just the postseason berth. He wants the American League East, and then he'll celebrate.
You know what's strange, though? I've thought about that, John, a lot. And I think they have celebrated wild cards in the past. If you don't celebrate the wild card and you wait to celebrate the East, if you don't win the East, that means you never celebrate making the playoffs. And I remember that Joe Torre was always a proponent of celebrating. You know, it's a big deal to get into the postseason, no matter how you get in. And Girardi has said they can do whatever they want. I have no problem with them celebrating a wild card. I'd just be surprised if they just completely ignore it.
Well, you know, I think about the guys on the team who have either never been to the postseason or, you know, have never won a World Series. Good fastball from McGee. You want to celebrate that. I mean, that's a major accomplishment to get into some playoff baseball. And guys like Mariano and Jorge and Derek, obviously it's not going to get them as excited.
There's Greg Golson. He has to be excited with his 2 for 3 today.
I'm thinking back to 2005 in Fenway Park. And we celebrated in Fenway Park. Randy Johnson pitched that game, and I don't remember the particulars, but I remember catching that game and not even knowing we had the possibility of clinching a playoff spot. Nobody really had an idea. We come walking off the field, found out we were in the playoffs, and celebrated and had a nice time.
I mean, maybe the guys like the core 4 guys with 5 rings on their fingers, they could say, you know, making the playoffs, it's not a big deal to us. But as you said, to the other guys who've never been there before, it is a big deal. I mean, every step of the way is a big deal. The 2-2. Foul back.
Golson having a nice night. Also putting some pretty good swings here on McGee. Hard throwing left-hander. Double and an infield hit for Golson. He's somebody you have to talk about for the postseason roster as well.
That one's driven to center field and deep. Upton back, and he makes the play on the warning track. Golson's had a nice game, but the Yankees are retired in order 1-2-3. Let's go to the 9th inning. The Yankees are trailing this one 10-3. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. And tonight's candidates are number 1, Carl Crawford, number 2, B.J. Upton, number 3, Rocco Baldelli, and number 4, David Price. Vote now and make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. So the pitch to Ibar is a strike from Vasquez. Vasquez in his 3rd inning of work. Now, we looked it up, and Elias helped us out with the 3 hit batters by Vasquez. 3 successive batters hit by pitches. That hadn't been done since, I guess it was Jeff Weaver back in 2004 with the Dodgers. And I believe that's the Major League record as well. The 0-2. know, Vasquez hasn't pitched in a while, John, and he seemed a lot more comfortable in the 8th and now more sure in the 9th. Was that rust out there?
I don't think so, because he just pitched, what, 2 nights ago?
Right.
And I mentioned before that he had a long layoff, and you would have expected him to be a little rusty. That night he was not. I'm a little curious why he's back out here in the 9th inning. I mean, there are some guys in the bullpen that maybe you'd like to get a look at in a game like this.
There's a base hit to right field by Ibar, his 2nd hit of the night.
You know, maybe the fact that he had a good 8th inning. Joe Girardi, Dave Island want him to build on that, but you have Sanchez out in the bullpen. Maybe you get a chance to look at him in a game like this. Doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Well, they've got a couple of guys warming. Kerry Wood and Boone Logan.
He's getting a little work in. I'm sure having pitched in a couple of days.
The 1-0 to Shopping. Lofted to right center. Giving chase is Golson, and he's on the run. Now, you mentioned, John, he's a guy who could be a postseason possibility, and here's how it works. People wonder, well, how could he make it? Well, Yankees have 4 starters in the postseason. Then they've got 5 guys in the bullpen that are sure things. Now, do they decide to carry 2 long men, or do they go with 1? Do they go with 10 pitchers or 11? If they go with 10, then there's a spot on the roster for speed, and that could be Golson, who showed with the great throw he had in St. Pete the other day, and you know, he's got a pretty live bat and runs very well. That could be a good 25th guy.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not just speed that he can go in there and steal a base, but it's also a guy who's got a cannon for an arm. We've seen that, and can cover some ground in the outfield. It just gives you, or Joe Girardi, I guess more importantly, and Brian Cashman, it gives you some options about how you want to build your bench for a postseason series. And then I guess it also depends on who you're playing. What stadium are you going to be playing in? All these things are going to come in to the equation.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, people don't realize that as Johnson goes down on strikes. People don't realize that you don't have to make your roster before that last game ends. You've got time, 24 hours, I believe. I think it might even be the day of the game. You have to see who you're playing and what you need to match up with them and what pitchers are better suited to face that lineup. Are they lefty laden? Do they have more right-handers? Do we carry Royce Ring? He might be the 11th pitcher. Or do we not carry Royce Ring and go with 1 left-hander?
It's funny how you know, we're even talking about Royce Ring. He comes in last night and looks impressive, and now you're like, whoa, this might be another lefty, and you never know. It's amazing that we're on the 23rd of September, and you're talking about Royce Ring and Golson as possibilities for your postseason roster, but they might play a part, play a role.
Now, Jack Curry tells me, back in the studio, he just texted me, said he heard from a Yankee source that they're going to go with 11 pitchers in the division series. So that would eliminate, I would think, Golson. So if they go with 11 pitchers, is that going to be Royce Ring?
He opened up some eyes last night. He opened up our eyes. I know that.
And another thing, John, that also is added to the equation, I heard the other day that Damaso Marte is now again a possibility that he is throwing and he doesn't feel pain. Now, he's not going to be able to get much rehab time. He might get 1 or 2 games under him. But he was so important for them in the pro. He was one of their MVPs last year. If you can combine him with the way Boone Logan is pitching, that's something I think a manager would rather have. 1 long guy and 2 lefties.
No doubt. I mean, just think about whoever you're going to play. But if you can bring a lefty in to face a tough left-handed at bat, say in the 5th or 6th inning, because we know the starters don't go as long. You don't have as long of a leash, and you might have a situation for a matchup on a lefty early in a ball game.
Let's say you face the Twins, and your starter goes 5 innings. Well, you want to match up with Mauer in the 6th, and then you want to match up again with Mauer in the 6th, or in the 8th. In
the 8th, right?
So, I mean, you need 2 pitchers. If you only have 1, then you're choosing when I use my bullet, and then hoping that Kerry Wood can come in and get out the lefty with his stuff.
Yeah, and that's what the Yankees feel very confident about Kerry Wood and that cutter negating some of the lefties and that curveball as well. But it would be nice to be a manager to have the option in the 6th inning to match up with a lefty.
Because if you only have that one, you almost feel like, okay, when do I fire that?
Yeah, when do I use him?
And after I fire it, I no longer have a dog in the yard. 3-2. Swing and a miss. And Vasquez finishes up a lot better than he started. No runs a hit. And one man left. We go to the bottom of the ninth. It's 10-3 Rays.
Well, B.J. Upton back in the lineup tonight. Gets a little slider out over the plate and drives it to left center field. Your Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, that certainly opened things up a bit. And here we are in the bottom of the ninth inning as the Yankees will have to rally for 7 in order to tie this. They're down 10-3, and obviously they've taken out all their regulars. So if they do anything, they're going to have to do it with the backups. Randy Sonnenstein is on the mound for the Rays. So Eduardo Nunez will lead it off. Pitch outside. Now we're talking about if they carry 11 pitchers, as Jack is saying that somebody with the Yankees is telling him. Well, here are the sure things. CeCe, Andy, AJ Hughes, Wood, Robertson, Logan, Mariano, and Java. All right, so that gives you 9. Now the 2 spots are remaining, and those have to be split up between Godin, Mitre, Nova, Ring, Vasquez, or Marte.
I have one guy on there that I would consider a lock.
High fly ball. Upton is there for the first hour. Who's the lock?
And nobody has told me anything like this, but I think Nova is one of those guys that has shown me that he can be dominant.
So you'd be cool with a guy with so little experience pitching in a playoff series.
And a lot of that goes on how he's handled himself, his body language and demeanor out on the mound.
Okay.
And I think he's a wild card. I would love to see him make it.
Now, would you use him as a long guy?
Well, I mean, it depends on what the situation is. You can.
Right.
But how about, going out there for the 6th inning one night or the 5th inning, depending on the type of game, or an extra inning situation?
Boy, I hear what you're saying, and I respect you tremendously. But, I mean, if it's the 3rd game and the series is tied at 1-1, and it's the 6th inning of a tie game, you're going to bring in a kid like that, and you're going to feel cool about it?
The 5th inning of a tie game?
Yeah? Really?
Sure.
Wow. You must really like his stuff.
I mean, you have to. He's been dominant at times, and then he gets that inning where things get away from him, But who are our other options here?
Godin, Mitre, Ring, Vasquez, and if Marte is healthy.
And we talked about Ring.
Colin Curtis loops one to left. It's caught there by Crawford. Well, we'll try to solve all of these questions on the postgame show. That's after the last out, the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry back in the studio. They're going to bring you highlights of this game, and Kimberly Jones will get the reaction from the clubhouse. Plus, you get the latest updates and standings from the major leagues. And that should be fun to break it all down. It's all coming up later only on Yes. Yankees down to their final out. And here's Juan Miranda. And Sonnenstein deals a strike. (10-3). Yankees led 3-1 going to the sixth, and then a 7 spot by the Rays and opened it up. And this should do it. There's a ground ball to second. Brignac over to Johnson, and the Tampa Bay Rays win this game by a score of 10-3. In the ninth inning for the Yankees, they go down 1-2-3. Joe Madden celebrates splitting this 4-game set with the Yankees. And now, who's going to finish first in the American League East? It's going to be answered over the next 10 days. That's what's remaining in the season. Friday through next Sunday. And we'll see how both of these teams respond. So pretty much only a half game separates the two of them. It's even in the loss column. Stick around for the post-game show to find out who's tonight's Chevy Player of the Game. Got an award to give out, and then we got the post-game show, as we promised you, with Bob and Jack and Kimberly. 10-3, Tampa Bay beats the Yankees. Stay where you are.